Well, howdy. Welcome here once again to the Double M Farm. It is the middle of May. Exactly, I believe today's the 15th. I'm not 100% certain. You know, once you retire, you quit looking at the calendar and the clock. But we're somewhere close to the middle of May. And I've had quite a few people ask, well, how's the pond doing? Did this last dam repair, spillway repair with the Harbor Freight trencher work? So I was down here today running the weed eater, cleaning around the banks of the Harbor Freight trencher pond, which is what we call it, since it was built with the Harbor Freight trencher. And I thought while I was taking a break in between weed eating spells, I thought I'd give you a quick update. You see the island right there with that little willow tree? That's turned out to be a hot spot for the fish. They really like hanging out under that tree. And yes, I do have fish in the pond now, which gives you an indication of how well the pond's doing. It's been at full pool now for a couple of months. We've had a couple of rains, which have got it a little bit cloudy. Oh, let's see if I can get up out of the chair. Just sitting here in this old Adirondack chair. I am covered in grass. Jeez, you know how these weed eaters do, especially those straight shaft ones. But the pond is doing extremely well. Got the swing over there, and I put a little wooden deck, I guess you could call it, a floor, underneath the swing there, so when we're sitting in the swing, our feet don't get muddy, mess your shoes up or whatever. That was my wife's idea. You know, women, they gotta have something different. And then behind the swing, that other wooden thing you see is a little bridge, because I got tired of jumping over the creek. But the pond is at full pool now. The overflow pipe is right there. It goes straight down for about 4.5, 5 feet, and goes under the new dam at an angle downward into the creek. And I can't remember if I had the creek cleaned up on the last video. I've got to go back and look and see. You can see my automatic lawnmower running back there. That white thing with the brown head, that's my one of my automatic lawnmowers. She's working back there on the creek. But I got a lot of trees trimmed out where I could get the tractor in there. But I still have to run the string trimmer along the edges of the creek to keep it clean. And but the pond is doing extremely well. Like I say, she is full, and she's running from 3 foot deep in the shallow sections to 8 foot deep in the deepest holes over in the corners. Got an average probably all the way through of about, I'd say we're averaging 5 foot deep all the way across. Oh, there's a couple of fish. I don't know if they're showing up on camera, but there's 2 big shell, 3, excuse me. Yeah, they just popped the water right there. I can see them. There's 3, well, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 big shell crackers swimming right there in the sunlight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them. I've put 12 shell crackers that I've caught. They're hand size. I caught them in the local lakes and brought them here and released them to get a head start. Again, middle of May. I may be too late for them to spawn, but I figure if they'll make it through the summer and winter, then next spring maybe they'll spawn and we'll have a pond full of shell crackers, hopefully. Red ear sunfish, around here we call them shell cracker. I'm not sure what they call them other places. That's the little island with some just wild grass growing on it. That's pampas grass there. And the water level actually came up above the pampas grass, but it doesn't seem to be bothering it. So it's doing well. Got the swing here. It's 4x4 bolted to a couple of poplar trees with our little deck. Nice view of the pond from the swing. And I'll see if I can slip over there and get a better look at those shell crackers without spooking them. I see one right there. There was a couple of them right here, but the weed eater run them off. But for those who have never seen it, this pond is spring fed. Constant running water. There's a little waterfall there. Comes out under the ground right there into this spring, this little creek, and runs down right there and under the little bridge and into the pond. that we dug out again with the Harbor Freight trencher. And I couldn't be more pleased. Oh yeah, there they are. Again, I don't know if they're showing up on camera, but there's some shell crackers right there. Let's see, I count 1, 2, 3, I count 4 right there. I don't know if that's part of those same 6 we were seeing. And again, I won't know till I get back in the house and look at this video, because I can't tell on this tiny screen if they're showing up on camera or not. I count 5 of them right there. And I've been throwing fish food in there. When I first released them, the pond was full of tadpoles, and after the next day after I released them, I haven't seen a tadpole. So I'm guessing the shell crackers ate all the tadpoles. I do still have a real good supply of minnows. There's one up close. There's one right there, a little small one. I've got them ranging from about 3 inches up to bigger than your hand. Had a good day fishing, and really caught some. Oh, there's 2 right here in front of me. There's one there and one there. So I guess they're exploring this grass that the weed eater slung on top of the water. Kind of made a mess, but looks like the fish are interested in checking it out. Hey, it's not lunchtime. What are you knocking off for? Huh? You're supposed to be mowing the grass on the creek. Yeah. What have you got to say for yourself? You look awful. That winter coat's coming off. Yeah, I know. Look at that. Look at that. Good girl. Yeah. All right. You did a good job. I appreciate it. That's the south end of a northbound boar goat. Hey, well, don't poop on camera. Where are your manners? Okay, I guess you haven't got any manners. But we come around here. This is one of the deep sections. It's around 8 foot deep right there. It slopes upward. And the overflow pipe's got a bunch of algae around it. We've had a ton of rain here in the upstate of South Carolina. There you might show up on camera. You can see we've got some of the minnows. The shellcracker hasn't hurt the minnow population. We got a ton of minnows in here. And they, of course, stay hid up in this grass around the edges. There you can see going into the spillway. And it goes underground and comes out way down there at the bottom of the dam. And boy, there's a ton of minnows down there swimming around. And we've got it cleaned up. And I think I said in other videos, my wife wanted kind of a park type place here under these trees on the creek. So right there at that tall fern, we're going to put a bench. We're going to build a little park bench to put right there. July and August, when it's real hot, that'll be a nice cool place to relax. And really about the only way to keep it mowed is with the weed eater. I've got a spring right here. At first I thought my dam was leaking, but it's not. There's a spring right here. I remembered later, before I ever started digging the pond, that there was water coming up right there. And it just comes up out of the ground and runs into the creek there. And then the pond, of course, is fed from the other spring way up there. So if I ever wanted to make the pond bigger, I guess I could go down there and make another dam across there and tear this dam out and let that spring just come up and make the pond even bigger. But then I'd have to cut all of these trees. And I'm tired of cutting trees right now. I'm still going to take some of these out. I'm going to thin this out so I can get in there easier with the tractor and the bush hog. Because I'm getting a little old to be swinging this weed eater around all the time. So this is another deep hole here, this little finger here. The way I cut it up in here. And I got this one, you know, the Harbor Freight trencher will go about 7 foot. And what I did when I dropped the water down took all the pipe out, and it was nothing but just the ditch running through the middle. I came right here while it was dry and crawled down in there. So I dug down pretty deep. And I'm somewhere between 8 and 9 foot right there. I'd say probably closer to 8. But I have purposely left a section right here. I know depth perception is not good on camera, but right here And then over there is lower than the main body of the dam. So if we ever get a real big storm, because this is a gully, and water will run out of the woods from up next to the front of the property. So if we get a real big storm with a lot of runoff, water will come through here. And so my purpose for doing this was so if I get a massive, this is like a once every 8 to 10 year type thing. If the water comes through, the theory is if it's more water than the pipe can handle, it will run over that corner and run over this corner and not wash out the dam. So that's the theory. Whether or not it'll work, I'll let you know the next time we have one of them 8 to 10 year massive storms. But that's the update on the Harbor Freight Towable Trencher Backhoe Pond. It's doing well. It's raising fish, and me and the grandkids will soon be able to do some fishing. I actually caught one of them the other day just to see. I threw a worm in there on a little brim buster, and he jumped right on it. Of course, I released him back in. I don't want to take these out. I want to get them established, and hopefully they'll spawn and raise some more. And in a year or two, we'll have a good crop of brim and shellcracker. I don't have any brim in there right now. Everything I caught was shellcracker. Well, there was one small one that was so small, I'm not sure if he was a brim or a shellcracker, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, those fish are still holding. I can see them over there in that glare right by that little willow tree at the island. They really like it over there. I've got the canoe down here. It's a 14-foot canoe. The problem with it is, put it in the pond right here, paddle about 3 times, and you're bumping into the other side of the pond. So it's a little big for this pond, but it's good to get out there if you need to get in there and do anything. I brought some old tires down here, drilled holes in them in the sidewalls for the air to escape, and I'm going to sink those in these deepest holes to give the fish something to hide in, especially when they start spawning. I've got one already down in that deep hole, can't see it, but I'm waiting for the water to clear up a little more to where I can see it better and see how it's working. I'm not sure if the tire is going to sit there or if it's going to settle and fill up with mud. And if the center part fills up with mud, then I'm wasting my time. It won't be worth putting in there. But if it does well, then I'll put those other 2 in some of these other deep holes. Could put one here and maybe one over there. But that's the theory. I need a few more places. Also thought about sinking a few cement blocks in some of these holes. My wife wants a dock, so we're going to build about a 6x6 square dock sticking out over the water. It'll be about 3 foot on land and 3 foot out over the water here. You know, women, they got to have a place to lay out to sunbathe. So if I can get her laying out here sunbathing, I'll try to get that on video for you. But don't hold your breath. She throws things at me when she sees the camera pointed her way. So wanted to answer the questions of how's the little pond that we dug with the Harbor Freight trencher doing. So hopefully this has answered those questions, he says, as he backs up without falling down and killing himself. Back all the way up here where I get up higher. So it's doing well. I'm very pleased. So if anyone ever tells you you can't build a pond with a little towable trencher, Nortrac, Harbor Freight, Jensen, pick your brand, it doesn't matter. They're all about the same except for the prices. They will do the job. You just got to take your time and work smart. So appreciate you visiting us here on the Double M Farm. We'll talk to you again real soon.